Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. You're all here today because you want to become FBI detectives. Mr. Scott, you either are listening to me or you're out of this room. Remember, it is you who want to become FBI agents, not me. I'm already one. You're probably all very proud of yourselves because you've been able to make it this far and beat thousands of contestants, pass all the tests. A little too excited, Miss Riley, but you're getting too excited too soon. Today, you will pass the final test, a test that will determine whether you will, in fact, become an FBI detective or not. And just to encourage you, I'll tell you that only 1% of you will be able to make it. Those who fail this test will get out of this room, out of this building, forever. I mean, don't worry. I'm sure you'll still be able to find a job at some police station if you fail, Miss Bosch. But today, your future will be determined by this final test, because it will show whether you are capable of taking the responsibility that the position of an FBI agent requires. In front of you, you have computer screens. When the test begins, you'll be given 5 real-life murder cases. You will have 30 seconds to solve these murder cases. This will determine whether you're able to think quickly and able to solve real-life mystery riddles. Anyone has any questions? No? Okay. Very good. Be very careful, because today your future will be determined.
Case number 1. The serial killer. A serial killer from Seattle had a peculiar way of killing his victims. After kidnapping his victims, he'd sit them at the table, and then he would sit in front of them. He would put 2 pills on the table. One of the pills was harmless, and the other one was poisonous. Whichever pill the victim took, the serial killer would take the other one. The scheme repeated itself over and over and over again. The victims took their pills with water and died. The killer always survived. How did the killer always get the harmless pill? the serial killer was cheating. The poison was in the glass of water and not the peel. Case number 2. The lonely old man. A lonely old man lived in the suburbs, far from the noisy city. He led a very simple and a quiet life, and he rarely left the house. It was a hot summer Friday in July, and the mailman walked by his house. He called out the man, but no one answered. The mailman looked into the window and saw the dead body of the old man on the floor in a pool of blood. The mailman called the police, and when the police arrived, they found 2 bottles of warm milk, 1 bottle of cold milk, and Tuesday's newspaper at the door. The next day, the killer was arrested. How did the policeman find out so quickly who the killer was? It was very easy for the detectives to understand that the killer was the mailman. He knew that no one in the house would read a newspaper on Wednesday or Thursday. And he was a silly, silly killer. Case number 3. The murder at the restaurant. 2 girlfriends were having lunch at a restaurant on a hot summer day. They ordered ice peach tea to drink. One of them was very parched and thirsty, and she gulped 5 glasses of tea almost at once, while the other one wasn't feeling so tired and drank only 1 glass, slowly as they were having a conversation. Tragically, the young woman who had been slowly enjoying her drink died, and nothing happened to the other friend. The investigation found poison in all the cups that had been served. The question is, how did the girl who drank more survive? One of the girls wanted to kill the other one and had a peculiar plan. The poison was in the ice, not the drink that they had, and drank her tea fast, so the ice didn't manage to melt and cause her any harm. Case number 4. Friendly murder. Married couple John and Zelda lived with their 4 friends. One day, John came home to discover that Zelda, his wife, was dead on the sofa. He called the police immediately. When the detective arrived, he realized that Zelda had been killed not so long ago. He called the 4 friends and started questioning them. These were their stories. Lou said that she was in the basement. She'd come home 1 hour ago and went to sort things in the basement. Frida said she was watching TV in her room. She said that she hadn't left her room that day as she was not feeling well. Masha said she'd been swimming in the pool for 2 hours. And Chen was upstairs ironing his shirts. Unexpectedly, the detective asked all of them to show their hands and immediately arrested the killer. The question is, how did the detective uncover the criminal? The killer was Masha. Had she been swimming in the pool for so long, the skin on her palms would have been wrinkled, but it was perfectly smooth. Case number 5. The murder in the Alpes. Newlywed Mr. and Mrs. Murrey went to a romantic trip to the mountains. But a week later, Mr. Murrey returned home alone. He went to the police and said that his dear wife had fallen from a mountain to her death. The next day, after the detective questioned the travel agent, he went to the house of Mr. Murrey and arrested him for his wife's murder. Murrey confessed his guilt. So, the question is, what did the travel agent say to the detective? When the detective called the travel agent, the latter informed him that Mr. Murrey had bought 2 tickets to the mountains and only 1 return ticket. So the detective guessed that Murray had planned to kill his wife even before the trip.
So, this is it. Those of you who failed, please leave the room. Those of you who passed the test, congratulations, and welcome to the family. You're officially FBI detectives now.